show yourself. You just thumped my hat.
I can't breathe. Oh God, I gotta get out of here.
Oh my God. Right, that is all swamp, I think.
My body. Whoa! Whoa!
The first video tonight comes from CPN, Creepy Production News, European-based paranormal investigation channel focused on nighttime spirit communication and immersive woodland explorations. The content typically features spirit box-style apps, EVP-type responses, and quiet atmospheric investigations carried out solo, with a skeptical but open-minded approach. It is February 20th, 2026 in a remote woodland in Europe.
Hey everyone, CPN here. And tonight we are in here for a spirit walk. I'm using this device for communicate with the spirits if anything's here. I'm a pretty skeptic about that, but yeah, let's see if something responds.
CPN begins alone in a snow-covered woodland at night, explaining that he is there for a spirit walk. He activates a Spirit Talker app, stating clearly that he is skeptical about devices like this, but is willing to test whether anything responds. He mentions local myths surrounding the woods, stories about ghosts and witches, but keeps his tone grounded. The forest is extremely quiet, with the only sound coming from his own footsteps crunching through the snow.
Never thought I'd say that in the dark woods. Is anything here who wants to communicate with me?
At one point, he notices light reflecting through the trees, but quickly explains that it is most likely the snow-catching light from a distant source. The isolation feels immediate and heavy before any response comes through.
Right, I have seen that the Spirit Talker is not as loud as to I'm not haunting you. It's not just me here. Okay. As I say that, don't take this for seriously, but
while checking the Spirit Talker, a phrase suddenly appears. I'm not haunting you. The timing catches him off guard, coming just after he had been asking whether anything was present. He tells viewers not to read too much into it, but admits that the response feels strangely well-timed and more unsettling than expected.
unsettling me. My body. Whoa! Whoa!
He explains that he felt something in his body, like a sudden rush or jolt of adrenaline. Nothing is visible and no sound can be heard, but his reaction appears instinctive, as if something unexpected made him tense up. The investigation stays subtle, but psychologically intense from start to finish. There are no apparitions, no running, and no obvious external disturbance. Instead, the tension builds through isolation, snow-muted silence, local myths, and the precise timing of the app response. The most unsettling moment is not something seen. It is the moment where a skeptical investigator visibly reacts to a feeling he cannot explain. In a forest where the only sounds should be snow and footsteps, even a single unexpected response is enough to change the entire atmosphere. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and that's entirely because of you. The next target is 100,000 before the end of the year. Ambitious, but worth aiming for. There's a hidden word somewhere in this video. See if you can spot it. Now, let's continue. The next horrifying video comes from Texas Paranormal, US-based paranormal investigation channel exploring haunted locations across Texas. They investigate urban legends and supernatural hotspots using EMF meters, spirit boxes, REM pods, cat balls, and other ghost hunting equipment. It is November 28, 2022 in Athens, Texas, United States. The investigation begins near the old train tracks where the monkey bridge once stood. The team notices discarded items, a lone teddy bear sitting on a fence, and signs that other visitors have been there before. Temperatures are around 30 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit, making the conditions physically uncomfortable.
You're recording, right?
That's a monkey.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's a monkey.
What the heck?
Almost immediately, rustling sounds come from the nearby woods. At first, they assume it could be animals, but one of the noises briefly resembles a monkey-like call, which immediately reminds them of the local legend about escaped circus monkeys in the area.
That's not getting anything.
Yeah, we did get a couple of
Mike.
milligusses on the...
Mike, put
What?
it to the bear.
Oh, is it that bear's too close to the antenna? Okay, I don't see any milligusses.
What is that noise?
That has to be some type of bird. There's no way. Because there just wouldn't be randomly monkeys here right now. I get a spirit box right here.
After placing their equipment near the tracks, the REM pod begins showing small spikes, even though no one is near it. They also note the temperature shifting between roughly 33 and 35 degrees. Because the readings change while the area remains still, the team considers the possibility that something unseen is affecting the devices.
Alright, thank you for touching our silver antenna on the REM pod for letting us know that you're here. Oh, it did it again. Okay, I kind of don't want to touch the bear. What if it's haunted?
Is it a bad idea to touch the bear? Could you touch the silver antenna or touch that? Make one of these go off, meaning it is a bad idea to touch that.
Can you maybe set the cat ball off to let us know?
So it's a bad idea?
Okay, is the bear... Can you step away from the antenna, please? So it's a bad idea to touch the bear, okay? We're not going to touch the bear then, okay?
I won't touch the bear.
Alright, touch the silver antenna on the REM pod.
It's about to be 33 degrees.
If you are attached to the bear. Are you attached to the bear? Touch the REM, like the silver antenna if you're attached to the bear.
The REM pod activates again, without warning. The investigators begin asking questions about the teddy bear they found earlier, wondering if it could be connected to the activity. The device reacts slightly, while they ask if the object could be attached to a spirit, which increases their suspicion that the location may not be empty.
I think. Dang, that stayed off for a long time. Okay. Can you please set off one of our cat balls for us? We would appreciate it a lot.
I'm gonna touch this bear if you don't set off a cat ball.
Okay, I'll grab the mail device, you grab the cat balls. I'm gonna keep recording just in case anything happens. Okay guys, we set the cat ball up on the train tracks right here. Aaron's gonna be recording. I'm just gonna do a spirit box session down here. See if I can capture anything right down here by the railroad tracks. Actually face this way so the cat ball's behind me. So if it does go off, we can see it.
Great idea.
Okay, we went down to the train tracks. Did you follow us down here? Yeah. Yeah, again. Again, are we speaking to one of the circus owners that got killed by the monkeys?
Moving closer to the railway tracks, the team sets up a spirit box and several cat balls on the ground. One of the cat balls lights up repeatedly for an extended period, becoming the strongest physical response they record during the night. While asking questions through the spirit box, they hear faint responses that sound like short words, including what they interpret as yes when asking if they are in danger or if the teddy bear is haunted. The repeated activations make the group visibly uneasy. The investigation ends near the bridge area, with the team deciding to take the teddy bear with them for further examination, believing it could be connected to the activity. They avoid touching it directly and plan to test it later in another investigation. Whether the events were caused by the environment, equipment, or something else entirely, the experience reinforces the reputation of Monkey Bridge as one of the more mysterious locations they have investigated. The next chilling video comes from Exploration Unknown, US-based paranormal and true crime channel investigating haunted locations, unsolved crimes, and unusual sights. It is April 20th, 2022, in a small wooded area near Cahava Lane, Knoxville, Tennessee, United States. John begins the investigation alone, walking into a small, dense patch of woodland connected to the crimes committed there in the 1990s. He explains the history while setting up a digital recorder and a K2 meter, making it clear that the location is known more for real events than ghost stories.
And we heard a crash in the woods and felt a huge burst of heat. You all see the dusty looking particles? That's pollen.
While scanning the darkness with his light, he notices what looks like a pair of reflective eyes staring back at him. He cannot tell whether it is wildlife or something else, but the height and distance make it hard to identify.
Something just got thrown at me. I can't breathe. Oh God, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Something's not right. Something's not right. That just got thrown at me as I was walking. It hit me in the leg. Oh my God. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to be so shaky. Oh my God, dude. I'm hurting. I don't know, man, I couldn't breathe.
It was loud.
So, it was like what happened earlier, dude. Something come flying and hit something up there right behind me. And on the way out, a rock hit me in the leg and went bouncing in front.
As he walks deeper into the wooded area, something small strikes the ground near him. Moments later, a rock hits his leg. He looks around but cannot see anyone nearby. At the same time, the pollen in the air makes it harder to breathe, and the tension of being alone in the woods causes him to become visibly stressed.
Eerie vibe. It's probably just, I'm out here in the middle of the woods at like 2:30 in the morning. But maybe we caught some on digital recorder, guys. Of course, like I said, you've already seen the highlights if there is. I've been here for quite a while. I've been here for almost 2 hours investigating. Early on, it sounded like some people talking off in the distance. It could have just been somebody walking down the road. I don't know. It was kind of weird sounding, but we definitely can't use that as paranormal evidence. Hopefully digital recorder picked up something. K2 meter stayed quiet the whole night. Never did light up once. But definitely a tragic story, a very sad story. You know, I feel for those women, you know, who are trying, you know, apparently got dealt a bad hand in life and was trying to make ends meet, and definitely not criticizing their profession, just an unfortunate end. That lifestyle can put you in some pretty bad situations with people like him. So,
At the end of the investigation, John reflects on how different this location feels compared to typical paranormal sites. The tension comes less from ghost stories and more from the real events that happened there. Although the K2 meter never shows strong activity, the thrown objects, unexplained noises, and possible voices on the recorder leave the night feeling unsettled. He finishes the exploration safely, but the experience leaves a lasting impression, showing how a place connected to real tragedy can feel just as disturbing as any supposedly haunted location. The next shocking video of the night comes from Creatures of the Night Paranormal, US-based paranormal investigation channel exploring reportedly haunted locations across the United States. It is February 26, 2026, in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, United States. The team arrives at East Cemetery Hill, inside Gettysburg National Cemetery, late at night. Walking between the gravestones, they talk about the history of the battle and the large number of Union and Confederate soldiers buried in the area.
What was that? You heard that? Like a pop? Yeah. Like off?
Something just like thumped me on my head. That's
because it heard you talking about stealing. No, Carl would not thump head.
No, but like that's why I was like, what are you doing? Something was just like messing with the side of my head right here. I had this hat on and it went like that.
Somebody didn't mess with you, right? No. You no, y'all are stupid.
Something just, when I'm talking about.
Do you want a bench rock?
So, I'm talking about, I don't know if it's the fact that you were talking about stealing.
Just FYI.
Or maybe there's some Confederate soldier back here.
Yeah, it had just like, it was like a couple of thumps too. That's why I was like.
While walking across the cemetery grounds, a sudden popping sound is heard close by. The noise does not match footsteps, wind, or distant traffic, and the team immediately stops to listen. They look around but cannot find a clear source, and the moment introduces the first feeling that something nearby may be reacting to their presence. One of the investigators suddenly reacts, saying he felt a thump on the side of his head near his hat. His companion confirms that nothing touched him, and there was no visible branch, insect, or object that could explain it.
I can't. I got rocks in my shoes. I can't run.
No, like, and mine hasn't moved. These things are tight to your head. Is that not tight to your head?
It's tight enough. It's not going to be like, if it was flapping around in the breeze, this whole thing would be, it was right back here.
There's no breeze either.
If anything, a bug flew up in there, but there's no bugs.
The investigators pause to discuss possible explanations. They consider wind, insects, and simple coincidence, but also acknowledge that Gettysburg has a long reputation for strange experiences reported by visitors. Their tone remains cautious rather than dramatic, and they decide to continue walking while staying aware of their surroundings. The quiet of the cemetery and the weight of the history keep the tension present, even without further incidents. The visit ends without any clear visual evidence, but the popping noise, the unexplained hit to the head, and the subtle movement of objects leave the team unsettled. They reflect on how locations like Gettysburg feel different from ordinary investigation sites, not because of obvious paranormal events, but because of the history attached to the ground itself. The experience remains inconclusive, yet the combination of silence, personal sensations, and the setting of a real battlefield makes the investigation feel unpredictable and uneasy, even without anything clearly supernatural appearing on camera. The next video comes from Stay Haunted, UK-based paranormal investigation channel focused on immersive nighttime explorations of allegedly haunted forests and rural locations across Scotland. It is September 12, 2024, at Balboy Forest, Scotland, United Kingdom. The investigators enter Balboy Forest after dark, attempting to locate a spot locals have described as an altar deep within the woods. Almost immediately, the terrain becomes difficult, with swampy ground, thick moss, and fallen trees slowing their progress. While moving through the forest, they hear unusual sounds, hissing, distant shouting, and movement somewhere in the trees.
Disagree.
You're a kid?
No, the noises are so weird. I don't know anything. I can hear voices.
Yeah, I told you. I thought I heard a kid. It's weird how I heard music down there.
Yeah, you heard music?
Yeah.
I would love to find this building and them flipping druids.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going on. We managed to come up to a dam. And after climbing over and under trees and everything.
Speak through this.
Like,
Yes,
tell
you
us your
can.
name, please? What noise pollution now from bloody cars?
Bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
What's a bad idea?
Empowerment.
Empowerment.
He thrives on fear.
Who thrives on fear?
Temptation.
Temptation. Bit of a random one, isn't it?
Just pitch black, guys.
Yeah, like literally it's
Pure pitch black.
madness, like. Oh.
There's many others.
Can you give me your name? Can you tell me the name of this forest?
Black Death.
Black Death?
What the fuck?
That's mad.
I took my last breath here.
No.
No way, here we go.
So there's a lot of people walking.
They also believe they hear faint voices separate from the nearby road noise, though the source cannot be confirmed. The responses make the investigators more cautious, but they continue the session to see if anything repeats.
Catch stuff, but that didn't.
Yeah, but there's a difference. There's different catching stuff in an environment, you know, where you're okay.
I turned the spirit talker off and just came back on.
No
It
way.
said Walter.
Walter again?
It's off. It's
What the
off.
What is going on?
Guys, it's off and it's still talking. Alter.
Alter, no way.
Alter. It just said alter. I thought it said Walt. So wait, hold on. I turned this off. Right, hold on, guys. I turned
I'm
the
freaked
spirit
out, like.
talker off, and then it's turned itself back on, and the first thing it says is alter, and that's what we're looking for.
The unexpected timing unsettles the group, and they begin checking their equipment to make sure nothing is malfunctioning. No clear cause is found, but the moment increases the tension.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And there was lorries going past, and I'm scared the crap out of us. Rose. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to us? There's a few devices. There's a shapeshifter.
And you just seen the shadow figure too as well up there.
Shadow bite.
What the hell was that?
My lungs.
It said collapse, or lungs earlier, remember?
Yeah. What?
Yep, I'm standing up. I ain't sitting down there.
Man attacks people. Mate, where's my torch? You got my torch?
I have the big torch. Your big torch?
Will you put my big torch on it or my hero?
Oh, I'm hearing all sorts of crazy stuff in here, like.
Emergency.
Emergency. I had the emergency the last time we were here, do you remember?
You came here and then you had to do a runner because
Yeah.
you had a family emergency.
Can you make a noise for us?
I remember my...
While walking deeper into the forest, one of the investigators reports seeing movement between the trees. At the same time, a music box placed on the ground begins to play, even though no one is standing close to it. The device continues for several seconds before stopping on its own. The team reacts cautiously, unsure whether the activation is caused by the environment or by something moving nearby that they cannot see.
Like, what the fuck? Mate, what? That's worrying me. Like, why would we walk straight past this? How,
No, the fact that they're hanging them on a tree
mate,
is something
yeah,
is wrong.
What was going on?
I don't know.
Wait, fucking 1 minute the place goes on fire.
Yep.
And here, where did they come from?
I don't know.
Mate,
I don't know.
We have to check back our cameras.
Yep.
Because I'm 100% sure they weren't there.
I know. I definitely didn't see them. Like.
And why is it kid? So, someone's come in past our car. Mate,
I don't know. I don't know.
Ricky, we watched. Look, you can't miss them.
I know.
There's
You would have seen them.
I seen them from down there.
Hatred.
Music box going. And as you can see, it's pointed out into the forest. It's not pointed near us.
Guys, I've got 2 cameras on. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
a bit all over the show here because I'm a bit shocked.
I don't know.
What do you do in this situation?
I don't know what you do in this situation. Something doesn't seem right. It seems off, man.
Right, I'm getting my equipment because I don't really want to be here because I don't feel safe. There's something sketchy here. Right, guys, I think we're just going to grab our stuff and go because I'm pretty sure them 3 kids.
Dude.
What?
Do you know what? Hold on. Do you know what's freaking me out, man? Do you know what's freaking me out? What did I say?
Faint sounds that resemble distant voices are heard while they examine the area, but nothing is visible on camera. With the ground becoming harder to navigate and the atmosphere feeling increasingly uncomfortable, they decide to head back toward the vehicle. The night in Balboy Forest becomes more intense as the investigation continues, with difficult terrain, unexpected device activity, and unexplained sounds adding to the tension. Although nothing clearly supernatural is captured on camera, the timing of the responses, the music box activation, and the feeling of being watched make the location feel unpredictable. The team leaves the forest without finding the altar they were looking for, but the combination of isolation, darkness, and repeated strange occurrences leaves them convinced that the area deserves further investigation. Before we get into the next clip, around 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. We're working toward 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you're enjoying the video, hitting subscribe really does help. All right, let's get back to it. The last video of the night comes from Unknowns in the Forest, 2 UK-based English channel focused on nighttime forest investigations. The creator records solo walks in remote woodland using minimal equipment, capturing real-time reactions to strange sounds, shifting light, and subtle movement in isolated environments. It is January 18th, 2026 in a remote snow-covered woodland, United Kingdom.
All right, guys, I'm back. Hold on, I gotta get my glove on. I'm already losing power on my friggin' big light, this one that I'm holding.
While moving deeper into the woods, the flashlight briefly loses power. The investigator stops beside a strange pile of snow, pointing out that the shape looks unusual compared to the rest of the ground. They hesitate for a moment, unsure whether it is just drifted snow or something else hidden underneath.
Side. Let's see if anybody went across the other bridges to see if we could get over there. Hope that was there ain't no wind. Just heard it snap. Could be just the trees, like I.
The walk slows as the investigator stops repeatedly to listen. Only the sound of boots in the snow, occasional wind, and a faint metallic clink from a distant pole can be heard. They question each noise aloud, unsure whether it comes from the weather, the trees, or something else in the woods. The longer the silence lasts, the more noticeable the feeling of being alone becomes.
Gotta be a pole over there with that metal clinking. I was gonna say, they go out further. So that sounded like a stick. Am I saying it was? I thought I heard somebody. I keep thinking I'm hearing somebody.
The wind begins to pick up, pushing through the trees and causing branches to creak and shift. Several times the investigator thinks they hear footsteps nearby, but each time the sound fades before anything can be seen. They repeatedly try to rationalize the noises as snow falling or wood cracking, though the tension remains as they continue walking through the darkness. At the end of the walk, the investigator looks back on the night, mentioning the strong wind, cracking trees, and the strange sounds heard throughout the forest. They admit that exploring alone in winter conditions feels more intense, especially with snow absorbing sound and making it harder to judge distance. The video ends quietly, with the investigator leaving the woods without finding anything definite. Only the lingering feeling that the forest never felt completely empty. Thanks for watching. If those 6 encounters rattled you, be sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more creepy content every week. The next mystery might be even darker than this one.